Let's go over some of the key vasopressors like norepinephrine, epinephrine, and vasopressin. We'll even hit a little bit of phenylephrine, and if we have time, we'll go into dobutamine and dopamine. Now, let's start off with some of the key things you should know about vasopressors, and then we'll go into the vasopressors themselves. Some of the receptors that they're going to hit include alpha receptors, beta 1, beta 2, and V1 receptors. We know that alpha, they're in the vascular smooth muscle and they lead to vasoconstriction. For beta 1, they're in the heart. When stimulated, they can lead to increased contractility and an increase in heart rate. For beta 2, they're going to be located in bronchial smooth muscle and some blood vessels. And when they're stimulated, they'll lead to bronchodilation and vasodilation in specific medications. Now, with V1, we know that they're in vascular smooth muscle and they're going to lead to vasoconstriction. Now, with vasopressors, you know that they're very potent. They can save a patient's life, but if they're misused, mismanaged, they can lead to deadly complications. So you should know they should never bolus vasopressors. Some of the complications you can see are arrhythmias, cardiac organ, peripheral ischemia, tissue necrosis, and a rapid increase in blood pressure, which can be deadly. Now, let's go into norepinephrine or Levophed. It's a potent alpha agonist with slight beta 1. This means that it has a good increase in blood pressure through vasoconstriction, and it helps the heart squeeze a little better and contract a little faster as well. It can be started peripherally in emergencies. We know this is crucial because in emergencies, you might not have a central line, so we can help bring the BP up with the norepinephrine. But as for a central line at the 1 2 hour mark, of course, it's known as the workhorse vasopressor because it's often the first line vasopressor used for many issues. It's the pressor of choice for septic shock, and it can also be first line agent for neurogenic, cardiogenic, and obstructive shock. Of course, if comes down to your provider and what they deem fit for this patient, but that's why it's known as the workhorse vasopressor because it has many uses. Now, for the onset, it's typically within 1 to 2 minutes, and the typical concentration that you're going to see is 4 milligrams in 250 mLs of normal saline. Now, when it comes to your titrations, you want to follow your own facility's protocols, what your start rate is, titrate by, and your range, your max. Now, let's move on to vasopressin. It's a potent V1 agonist. It increases the blood pressure. It's often a second line agent in septic shock added on after norepinephrine. Onset is up to 15 minutes, and the key thing is that you do not titrate it. You start it and you leave it alone. A common rate can be 0.04 units per minute, or you may also see 0.03 units per minute. Concentration is typically 20 units in 100 mLs. Let's move on to epinephrine. So it has alpha properties, beta 1, and beta 2 properties. It has vasoconstriction, increases the heart rate, increases contraction, and it helps with bronchodilation. So as a result, it's going to be the vasopressor of choice with anaphylactic shock and in shock states where the heart rate is low, because again, it's going to help bring the heart rate up. It's going to help again bring the heart rate up and the blood pressure together. Onset is within 1 minute. Typical concentrations can be 4 milligrams in 250 mLs. Know that there's other uses like a dirty epinephrine drip that can be made, or even push dose epinephrine by the providers. Now, let's move on to phenylephrine or neosynephrine. It's a pure alpha agonist, meaning it's only going to help with vasoconstriction. It's typically added on after other vasopressors have not worked. The onset is within 1 minute, and typical concentrations can include 20 milligrams in 250 mLs. It does have other uses. It can also be used as a push dose vasopressor like epinephrine. And again, remember that it's only administered by the providers. It's not in our scope to give any of the push dose epinephrine. That's only the providers. Remember that. But it's important to know what's going on with their patients and what's being given to them, right? Next, let's move on to dopamine. So dopamine has alpha, beta 1, and effects on the kidneys. It is dose dependent, so it can be difficult to know what effects it's going to have. Typically, on the lower doses, it can increase blood flow to the kidneys, and on higher doses, it causes vasoconstriction and an increase in the heart contraction and heart rate. The onset is within 5 minutes. Concentration is 400 milligrams in 250 mLs. And like always, like with all the vasopressors we're talking about, you need to follow your own facility's protocols and the orders for what you started at, what you titrate by, and the range, the max that you can go up to. Now let's go over dobutamine. As beta 1, beta 2, and alpha agonist. Its primary effects are going to be on beta 1, especially on helping the heart contract better. Remember that it can lead a little bit of hypotension after starting the infusion, and that goes back to having a little bit of like beta 2 a little bit of the bronchodilatory effects. It can also lead to a little bit of hypotension. Bronchodilatory effects mainly on the lungs, of course, but just remember that it can cause a little bit of hypotension. Its main use will be in cardiogenic shock from heart failure. Onset up to 10 minutes, concentration 500 milligrams into 50 mLs. And I do want to hit some of the general vasopressor tips. Always have your next bag ready to go. Never let the bag run dry. Your patient's used to having a vasopressor on board. If it runs dry, their pressures are going to tank rapidly. So never ever let your bag run dry. Always have the next one ready to go. Set your blood pressures to take every 5 minutes or quicker so you can keep an eye on how the patient is responding. If you're starting a second vasopressor, you need to be asking for an arterial line and for a central line. Arterial line to help you closely monitor the blood pressure, while a central line to make sure the vasopressors are going in smoothly and that there's no extra risk like extravasation for your patients. And of course, keep an eye on the micrograms per minute in the or versus micrograms per kilogram per minute. Know what your facility uses and know what the standard thing that you should be